Hi, everyone, and Happy New Year again. Welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, the Sands of Time. My name is Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I'm a bereavement specialist. And it's always good to see you, Susan.
Hi, Lisa. Happy New Year again. Um, my name is Susan Capurso. I'm an end-of-life doula and legacy specialist. And I want to welcome everybody today. And today's episode's a little bit different. You know, whether you've been diagnosed with a breast cancer diagnosis or you know somebody who has, just take a listen and stay with us for a little bit. You know, Lisa and I are the first to say we are certainly not medical professionals. Please know this. We're not here to give you any kind of advice or tips on how to conquer this battle, whether it's, your journey or it's a friend's journey. We're only here to support you, with simple understanding and some different perspectives and really kindness.
Yes.
So today we reviewed some of the facts that we've learned through research and through some of the experiences that both Lisa and I have had in our own circles. And before we begin, I'd like to start with a really quick, simple fact that uncertainty in our lives is unpleasant. Okay. It's a part of being a human being, though. This life that we live in is not forever, and we all know this, and we're passing through this world. However, living passionately and intently can sound pretty far off right now for somebody that's going through your experience. But remember that your experience is unique and it's personal to you. And life doesn't always go the way that we've planned it to. But is
You
it
know that.
possible to embrace uncertainty? And what this means is to accept the unexpected around every turn and accept the challenge for what it is today and right now and move forward. Focus right now on what matters, the steps that need to be taken to reach that final goal, right? For each and every one of us. But expecting someone to swoop in and rescue you is not usually the way. So, by changing your mindset a little bit, like Lisa and I always talk about, and know that it's okay to be uncertain, and this is a part of your journey, and that you'll flow through your journey in a much lighter way when you embrace this uncertainty a little bit.
Yeah.
And remember that the road that you're traveling is yours and it's unlike anybody else's road around you. So accept your feelings, right? There'll be a mixture of shock, worry, anger, sadness. All of these are common. We'll talk more about this. And all of these can change every day in the blink of an eye. So get your facts. Knowledge is power, which
That is.
Lisa and I both agree on. The more you know, the less stressed you'll be. Find reliable sources and informative resources. This is really important. Write things down, plan your weeks out, and know how you'll share what's happening right now in your life with other people.
Yeah, well said,
So, Lisa,
Susan.
I know that you've recently had some personal experiences with friends who have had breast cancer diagnosis. And I can't wait to hear some of this important and informative information from you today, especially.
Sure. Well said, Susan. Everything that you said, of course, I agree with completely. And I do want to say it's more about thriving than just surviving.
Mm,
And let's all decide, no matter what happens in our lives, that we are going to live the absolute best life that we can, no matter what we're dealt. And I know that's easier said, but that's the truth. Those are the choices we have. We may not choose some of the things that we can't deal, we can't control, but we can control our attitudes, which is what you talked about. So I have had experience with breast cancer since the 80s. And when I walk for Strides, which is usually in October, which is Breast Cancer Month, I would say that I wear at least 14 people on a sign that's in the front of my jacket. Um,
wow.
and I have one side says in honor of, and one side says in memory of. So let me tell you of the 14, the memory of. We're talking about people in the 80s where breast cancer research was not what it is now. It's amazing, by the way, and I do want to tell everybody that other than skin cancer, breast cancer is the most common cancer among American women, and everybody should know that. Breast cancer has come a long way, a real long way. So most of my friends who have had diagnoses and treatments has been a lumpectomy that was found pretty early because we all do mammographies. And for those of us who have dense breasts like me, we do sonographies as well, so that you can really see everything, especially. Those people have had a lumpectomy, maybe some radiation, maybe they're on tamoxifen or the other one, and I don't remember the name of it. But it is, quote, more curable than it's ever been. And it's just one of those diseases that there's been a lot of research and a lot of information with. So it's not as scary. Look, cancer is always a difficult diagnosis, but it's not as scary a diagnosis as we've seen in the past. It is because, treatment is much better. Early detection is much better. Obviously, there are some factors in women, certainly genetics. We have a lot of stories, about that. But as I said, it is not as scary and it is much more treatable. So those other women are fine. And, even the women who have had mastectomies are fine. I mean, we're talking about my partner's sister who had a mastectomy 21 years ago, and she's fine. So, does she always worry that, it'll come back or something? Of course. But that's with anything. That might be even with skin cancer. So even the few women that have had mastectomies, and I would say of the 14, minus the 3, so that's 11, I would say I have, I guess, 4 people who have had mastectomies. And as I said, the other 7, we're talking about a small cancer that's isolated. It's one lump. It's taken out, and they make sure that it hasn't spread anywhere else. And then there's either treatment or nothing at all, or something that reduces the chances of future.
Lisa, not to say that this is positive, because how can it be positive?
Sure.
But a little bit, because the way that you just told us about that, I have not had a tremendous amount of friends or family like you have that have been diagnosed with breast cancer. So everything's a learning curve for me, that we talk about, but this one especially. And it sounded in that paragraph right there that that there is some positivity going on compared to years past.
Very much so. Very much so. So I do want to mention about early detection, because there are a few things that everybody talks about. So I just want to mention these. Again, we're not medical professionals, but these are just common things that all women basically are aware of. Any change in size or the shape of the breast, pain in any area of the breast, a nipple discharge other than breast milk, of course, a new lump in the breast or an underarm. And, always seeing, on a yearly basis, a physician, who does breast exams. And of course, we all do our self breast exams as well. I personally have a lot of lumps. That's just me. In fact, at one point when I had, I guess it was a while ago, I was in my maybe late 40s, early 50s. He found like 21 of these little cysts. And, they all represent the same way. And I've tried to reduce, there's certain things that you can have less of and stuff, and reduce, but there are people who just make cysts. That's what they do. And I'm one of them. So, again, trying to make sure that you stay ahead of it and you're aware of it, and don't just let it go. That's really important. We're all afraid of whatever, but it's better to at least have things checked out.
And it sounds like one of the cancers that are highly by being proactive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And getting your mammograms and doing the self exams.
Yes. Yes.
Are all positive with early detection. Just like, and I know a little bit more about colon cancer, because in my husband's side of the family, it was rampant, and most men died by the time they were 50. So he, as a young man, would start to go get colonoscopies.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew just that fact, that by getting the colonoscopy and taking out the couple of polyps that they
Yes.
found, can avoid turning into
Yes.
colonoscopy. And this sounds sort of the
It is.
same
It is.
way, right?
It is. I did have a one cyst that they were concerned about. They did a core biopsy, I guess you'd call it. And I was dealing, again, deal with real people and people who care. I was dealing with a radiology place that was amazing. And because it was the weekend, they didn't want me to have to worry on the weekend. And so they gave me the result really quickly. It was like July 4th weekend. And they knew I was going away, and they didn't want me to have to wait. I mean, that's not only compassion, but that's really thinking about, other people. And I don't know that everybody else is like that, but this place was. So again, be very confident in who you're seeing, in the radiology team that you have.
That's what I
And
mean. How do you choose, Lisa? How do you choose where to go and who will give you the care you're about to receive?
I'm into recommendations. I feel that if I talk to people who I trust, my friends who have been through different things, I really have confidence in their opinion. Now, everybody looks differently at people, everybody's treated differently, and you may not have the same experience, but I think that a reference is a really good start. I also think that when you look at the specialty and see, how long they've studied, or see, what their experience is and all, you can look at their backgrounds. Somebody once said to me, I'd rather be seen by someone from Harvard, whatever, than whatever. I don't think it's only the education. It's also the experience and the person. Now, the one controversial thing that I'll say is that I really go not only by the intellectual, but I also go by the bedside manner. I don't want somebody who is just so experienced that they can't talk to me. I really do need somebody who I feel I can ask questions. I can, it's a partner in my medical care, not just, the expert. And again, that differs with a lot of people. You have to feel confident in those people or the place you go. I go to a place that is highly regarded in this area.
I mean,
And
using your gut instinct is essential,
it
right?
is.
Always follow your gut.
That's right.
But then, like you said, the testimonials, do your research,
Yes.
ask people,
Yes.
the referrals are crucial.
Yes. I'll talk also about how lowering your risk. And even if you do these things, that doesn't mean that you can't get breast cancer, but they do say keeping a healthy weight and exercising regularly is really important. They also say choose not to drink alcohol or drink alcohol in moderation. There's controversy about this. One, you read red wine is very good, then you read, it's not good. I mean, everything goes back and forth, but that's the general thing that they've said. If you're taking hormone replacement now, I do take, um, it's not the same, but I do bioidentical hormones, and I've done a lot of research, and other people aren't comfortable with this. Again, I did a lot of research for other things in my life, and this is something very, very good for me and very positive for me. Does it increase risk? It might in some ways, but again, the benefits outweigh for me the issues that might come up.
And
Apparently
I
breast
also
in your
think,
children.
Lisa, today, I also think, though, the people that are listening today are the people who've already
Yes.
gotten the diagnosis.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so they might be thinking, oh, well, okay, that was great if I heard you
Okay.
say that last year, Lisa,
Sure. Sure.
but you have to getting that diagnosis.
Sure.
But I still agree with you in a sense that that these are things too to implement even now,
Sure.
right? After
Sure.
your diagnosis.
Sure.
Even so, make these changes. These are really important in your healing process,
They are. They are. That
right?
diagnosis, um, you need to gear yourself up to now becoming sort of a medical expert in your own body.
That's
So
right. Your own advocate.
that's right, your own advocate. So, more than one opinion is important. People who specialize, obviously, in this, very important. People who you have confidence in, and again, testimonials. But you have to feel that that person is your best advocate and working with you completely as a partner. And please don't just trust one person's word. You don't need to do that. Okay. You can get other, people, it's funny. People say to me, oh, well, then they're going to think I don't trust them. Listen, it's your body, and they'll think that you're doing research and making sure that you're confident in whatever information you get. And by the way, any doctor who says, I'm your only one should really be questioned, because that's not the way it should be.
I also want to go back a step here when we were talking about being an advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
This is really, it's an overwhelming and draining time for anybody walking in your shoes. And it's important, I think, if it's possible, for you to find your own patient advocate. Not that you need them. Yeah, many women these days are independent and can do things themselves. And but there's this thing about having another set of eyes or another set of ears. Try and find a trusted friend or family member that will go with you on these appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they take a little notebook and carry it with them, just to write down little things here and there, because you're not always going to remember everything when you walk out of that room.
Absolutely. And in
right?
fact,
And it's really important to know.
Yes. And while you're saying that, make sure that you go with questions. You need to go with your own information, your own questions. You can even take a recording device. Some people do that.
Sure.
And ask the doctor and say, I can't remember everything you said. Would it be okay if I record our conversation? Very important. And again, you're right as a patient. You're advocating for yourself. So,
and Lisa and I are very big on Google and the internet for your research and your learning. But there can be times when you're suffering from this or any other illness that you'll be so overwhelmed and bombarded with so much different information. So how do you know who to trust? How do you know who to listen to? And again, it's your best judgment. It's finding those trusted resources that you can believe. It's not every resource out there on the internet is not true.
That's right.
So you have to find the trusted organizations that you can have faith in and believe and follow these. And also by taking 10 different websites and combining the information together to help you in this journey, because it is a journey.
Yes, it is.
You get that diagnosis, and now what? Just start on a journey of your own. Walk this journey of your own. And the more people you have surrounding you, the support system, the advocates, your family members, your friends, it's easy to want to keep silent about things. I know firsthand. You don't want to tell people about certain things. And I don't think that's a good idea when traveling through this.
That's right. That's right. The one thing that people do offer is some support groups, and that's sometimes helpful. Sometimes people don't like them. It depends on the kind of person you are. But that's also an avenue where at least you can find out what other people have gone through. And you can see what other opportunities or what other choices there are that you can make. Choices. It's your body. It's your life.
And Lisa, I read about different symptoms, different stages.
Yes.
And so many different treatments. Yes. And this can be confusing and overwhelming, and we're really here today not to tell you about any of these actually, but to tell you that there are different options. Yeah. So you have to be a student all over again now.
That's right.
And learn things that you never knew about before and talk to people. Yes. This is not a time to keep these things to yourself.
That's right.
You could do the research on your own, but you still need that support system to hold you up.
I actually feel that everybody should become an expert in their own health and in their own body. And somebody could say, well, you're not a doctor, you're not, or whatever. Doesn't matter. This is your body. This is what you're going through. And you need to know yourself. So, don't be afraid to ask anything. Don't be afraid to really wander around and research. And until you're comfortable and satisfied with whatever course you're going through next, And people do decide different things. Um, you know, after something done like lumpectomy, people are deciding, should I do the enlargement thing, where they take the thing to enlarge so the breast has the same kind of shape as it did before. I forgot what they put in, but these things that they put in. And again, that's another controversial thing. Do I want to do something like that right after? Again, we're not here to give you medical opinions, but here to at least explain to you that number one, breast cancer has become much more treatable, and that's the truth. And number two, there are a lot of different options and choices, and you need to seek them out in places with people who you're comfortable with and who you feel have at least either gone through it or they have good, trusted medical professionals. And I have plenty. I have plenty of women who recommend certain doctors or recommend certain oncologists, etc. Now, again, you're going to decide on your own opinion because you may go and you don't have the same kind of rapport with them as somebody else does. But at least it's a great place to start.
Yeah, and remember too, after that initial diagnosis, all right, just just take that and sit with it for a while, and you need to really be gentle with yourself. And it's okay. It's okay to have those down days and to be overwhelmed and to feel like nothing else is more important in the world now than what you heard today.
Right.
And you have to baby yourself a little bit.
That's right. That's right.
There's no putting on the big girl panties and starting a mission and finding the solution to this and the cure. That will come.
Yes.
That will come, but you will feel better in a little bit of time. You need to just take this in and sit with it for a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
And
But
then
yeah, so much positivity, Lisa, just like you talked about.
Yes,
so
there
many
is.
new things are happening every day.
It's amazing. I think about my girlfriends who died in the 80s, and now they wouldn't have. I'm telling you right now. The woman who had the lumpectomy, she should have had more. And the woman who it already started spreading could have done other things, but didn't know of anything else to do. Things have really advanced. There are other cancers. Listen, we talked about pancreatic cancer, and it's still a long way to go. But breast cancer is really just the
I think this is one of the big reasons. Hearing you speak just now, I thought this is one of the big reasons why a lot of us don't want to reach out to outside support systems. But in the case of how advanced breast cancer is, it's really important, I think, to do that. And I'm thinking for myself in that situation, I'd want to hear different stories. I want to hear different treatments.
Yep. Yep.
I'd want to hear about different aftercare plans.
Yep.
What did you do? And what did you do? And what worked great for you? And because just by knowing this, again, knowledge is power.
Yes.
Right. And maybe there'll be a theme or a trend that we'll see and we'll kind of get a feeling on the path that you want to take, and the journey ahead. And that's by hearing other people's stories.
Yes.
So, and you could do that by meeting people through support groups and again, reading and there are many books out now too.
Oh, yeah.
And you can read about the things that people went through in their own journey, and all of this, combine it all in a snowball, and that's going to help determine your course of action, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So, and the feeling thing, like you said, it's okay to feel sorry for yourself. It's okay to feel depressed. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. All those feelings are fine. But in the end, you are your own advocate. And you need to come and figure out, so what's best for me? And where do I need to go? And what do I need to do? And please reach out to other people, especially the support system in your own family. Because these are the people who really love you and care about you and want to be there.
But that's not always the case too.
I know that.
Right? Sometimes friends are more helpful when it comes to that support system.
Yes.
If you have, or internal support group.
Yes.
Because sometimes families, other family members are more frightened than you are.
Mhm.
and will want to push this under the carpet because they won't want to, have open and honest discussions. But that's something important that you need to do. So, Lisa, with your experience in having many friends and family members with breast cancer,
Mhm.
what would because really this video today we wanted it to be for a person who was diagnosed, or if you're a friend, right, and you have a friend who's been diagnosed. So coming from that perspective, you as the friend, Lisa, um how have you helped, a friend who recently got a diagnosis? What are some of the things that you think that we can do besides being a
Yes,
loving,
yes,
supportive, great
yes.
friend? Do you have any other
Yeah.
suggestions?
Well, I'm into checking in. I like checking in with people.
I like
Because
it.
you may not hear from them. And that's not because they don't want to talk to you. It's because they just can't reach out. So I'm into checking in with people, often, at least
They
once a
don't
week.
want to share. They might not want to be a Debbie Downer and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
speak about negative things when they want to just pour their heart and soul out
that's
about the
right.
negative
That's right.
right now.
And by the way, instead of saying, how are you? It's, hey, I was thinking about you. And that opens up all kinds of things and makes it less, you know, controversial
Heavy.
or less, you know what I mean, you
Yeah.
know? So doing that is really important. Um, I've done some fun things. I've sent little pink bracelets and pink shirts, and I'm a warrior, and I mean, it makes them smile. It makes people smile. It really does.
And I
Um,
think if it's a good friend, I think one of the things you can do is offer to be that advocate, offer to hold that notebook and that pen, because although you think that that's a simple thing to do, you know, um, a lot of people don't want to feel like a burden
right,
and
right.
don't know who to ask to do that. So
It's
you
true.
can offer that service. Just let me go with you to the appointments and keep a cheat sheet, keep some notes for you. Let me
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
And they may say no at first, but then come around and it's going to be the best thing ever. The most help that you could have given at
But
that
the other
time.
thing as a friend is not to take things personally. So when they're upset or they say, hey, I really can't talk, or I'm not interested in talking, whatever it is, don't think, okay, now they don't care about me, or now I'm not a friend anymore, or now they don't want me, or all those things. Don't confuse what they're going through, which is a lot, with something that's personal for you. You can't.
Because it's not about you.
It's not about you.
And that's hard for us to do in many
Yeah,
situations, not just when you have a friend with breast cancer.
that's right. That's right.
Um, in so many situations, it's hard to not take things personal
Yeah.
and think that it's about you, because
Correct.
often it's not.
Correct. Correct. But you know what? Those simple reach outs, really. I sent a pink bracelet to somebody and they really appreciated it.
Mhm.
Just little things. Just be there for them.
Unfortunately, you were chosen to be on this journey,
Mhm.
whether you're the individual or the friend. You were
Right.
chosen to be on this journey with them or with yourself or what have you.
Sure.
And it's really, it's like going back to school. We said earlier, it's all about learning again and finding the right options for you. And
That's
it's
right.
not just the first one. You really need to be smart and be
Yeah.
educated and learn as much as you can through this process.
Yeah. Now I know some people have a trusted person and they, a medical professional, and they decide this is the person. And that's fine. But I do encourage people to find as many opinions as they need so that they do feel comfortable and that their questions are answered fully. And just remember, it's your body, you're the patient, you're the person, and nobody else can tell you, no, even the doctors, they can come up with all their, stories and all their statistics and whatever, but it's all about you. So people, who are not used to really advocating for themselves need to always think of themselves as first, especially in this kind of journey, in any cancer journey. But
I want to ask you this, Lisa, again, because I haven't been through the experience as much, and we're just trying to be as helpful and educational to people out there watching right now. But um, so with treatments, I know there's different kinds of
there are.
treatments. So you've had friends that have gone through different treatments.
Yep, I have.
And are they all horrible, horrible, like we see on Lifetime
No,
movies? Or
no, they're
some
not.
easier than
Yeah,
others?
yeah, some get
Any
through.
tips
Yes,
and advice as you're going through these treatments?
yeah,
You've had that experience a little bit.
yeah. So, I'm big into nutrition. I'm big into keeping yourself healthy and all. And there are books actually, for if you're going through chemotherapy or you're going through radiation and how to help yourself through nausea or help yourself through diarrhea or help yourself through any other kinds of stomach whatevers. There are books just for that.
Oh, I
You can
like
find them
that.
even on
Yeah.
Amazon. And I'm big into that because you don't want to lose too much weight. You want to be strong. You want to be as healthy as possible. So that's very, very helpful. Um, there's also things that will reduce nausea. Marijuana, um, gummies, other things like that, apparently as well. I'm not an expert in that, but I just know that that's the case. And obviously you have to listen to your body. When your body's tired, it needs to rest. So don't say, oh, I shouldn't feel so tired. Well, it is tiring. Your body's going through treatments, and so it is tiring. So part of it is learning just to accept where you are. You will not fight that. Okay. And
Now,
then of course,
Lisa, what tip do you have? I didn't mean to interrupt you. My thought processes
yeah,
just goes one step ahead of me.
yeah.
What tip would you have for a family member who now has somebody in my family, whether it's my mom or my aunt or my grandma or my sister, somebody was diagnosed with breast cancer, and what tip can you give for that person
I think
to
it's the
be
same as a
more
friend.
patient?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's the same as a friend. It's being a good listener. It's being there for the person, even if the person, doesn't seem like they need anything or want anything. But that availability that you have shown that person that you're there for them whenever, that's huge. It's priceless, you know?
Just
Even
comes
just,
down to love and care, right?
yeah, yeah, and even tasks. Hey, I'm going to help because there are organizations, by the way, that will help with cleaning services and help with other things that are going driving around and all. There are organizations that do that. But if you are a family member, just helping out and bringing over some food or, saying, hey, I'll do this today for you or I'll help you with this. They may not say, I want this help, but let me tell you how much it would help, you know. And listen, it's
Yeah.
it's hard, you start losing your hair sometimes, and that's very difficult. New appearance and being upset over that.
And I know the
Again,
American Cancer Society,
huge.
they used to help with this before COVID, and then I think they slowed down a little bit. So I'm not sure of, now we're in 2023, you'd have to find out the facts. But they used to provide wigs,
Yep,
if you need help,
yep,
if you're losing your hair going through some of these
yep,
treatments. And I also know that they provide rides,
yes,
if you
yes,
do need help and you need rides to some of your treatments.
yes,
They have volunteers who provide that as
yes,
well.
that's right.
So you're not going to know these things unless you call and ask, but
Yes,
you need to make the initial contact because they're not going to be ringing your doorbell,
yes.
waiting to come
Or
in and sit
or
on your couch
assign
and explain these things.
or assign some friends. Could you find out if such and such is available? Could you help me
Yeah,
with, that's a
I
great
love
thing.
that.
And then other people feel like they're helping. They're doing something,
I
you know?
love that
Me too.
because if a friend were to ask me, would you do a little research for me? Is there any place local to me that might offer some services? I'd be on that like white
Yes,
on rice
that's
because that
right.
would be my opportunity to really help where help is needed,
That's right.
and just to think about these things,
That's right.
right?
And
Ahead
people
of
do
time.
want to help, but don't know what to do.
We
So
always say that,
we
right?
always say that.
And it's the same thing with any type of diagnosis,
Yes,
not just this one.
yes. So again, embrace your feelings, accept your feelings. Feelings are not good or bad, ever, ever. Okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to say, why me? It's okay to say, how could this happen to me? All those things. But those 14 friends, it's a lot of people. And as I said, only 3 died. And the rest, adapted and lived their lives and continue to, be as healthy as they can be. And they've all gone through different things. And some, it's been nothing. It's been a small lumpectomy, a tiny little thing that they found early. And that was it. That was it. So again, just
I'm so glad to hear you say all this today, Lisa, because knowing myself and not knowing many people who have gone through this, I think that would be the scariest thing to hear in the world. And I think I would crawl under the blankets and
Mhm.
cry for a week and
Sure,
not come out, and, out of fear.
sure.
Out of fear. So it's really good to hear some of these things that it's okay. It's become really one of our mainstream challenges, I think, these days. I don't know that we haven't given any statistics here, but the statistics are pretty high,
They
I
are.
believe.
They are high. But the point is that here we go. Each year in the United States, about 264,000 women get breast cancer and 42,000 women die from the disease. Now, that's much higher than my experience, but that's and I'm trying to see the date of this article, just about breast cancer in general. And so I don't know how long ago this was written. I apologize. But those are statistics that they're giving here. And by the way,
It sounds like
men, this is
it might
important,
be an
men also
older
get
article
breast
too.
cancer, though it's not as common. Okay. It
Yeah.
says 1 out of every 100 diagnosed is found in a man. Most breast cancers are found in women who are 50 years or older, but breast cancers can affect the younger women as well. The point is treatable, early detection, follow up, thoroughness, all those things. Yeah, scary because cancer's scary, period. But the point is how much further we've gone just since the 80s.
Right. And I know just and I'm over 50, let's just say that. But but I know that in my years of living here on this earth that we really have been hearing more and more about this,
Yeah.
having the discussions, talking about being proactive,
Yep.
talking about I'm in circles where now I've met pure mammography, that have a few locations here on Long Island now, and they're super in making you feel comfortable. If you don't have the ability to pay, that's okay too, because I did read something recently uh, that that you can get mammograms in many places without insurance or having the ability to pay. Like that isn't an excuse factor for not going and getting
Mhm.
that early detection. But like this pure mammography, I did go, and you actually don't need an appointment, and you can just walk in, and it's spa-like, and they have the spa TV going on and music and pretty robes and living room
Yeah.
area, and it's
Yeah.
really a comforting kind of icky test, that we don't want to go and take it. They make it a little bit more comfortable for you.
Sure. Sure.
So
Yeah.
these things are important. And if the world is telling us that it's treatable, if
Yeah.
you're proactive and
Yep.
you pre-plan and get these tests taken, then listen.
That's right.
And we need to listen. And that's all we're doing here today is, elaborating on that fact
Yes.
that these things are important, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a completely negative experience,
That's right.
you
Sure.
know.
Yep. So I hope
Not
this
that
has
I'm
been
not saying it's
helpful.
a positive experience,
No.
because
No.
I've never been in those shoes.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't think it is a positive experience. Nobody asks for that or wants that in their life. But again, we're here.
Yeah.
we're all walking this with different challenges. You may have breast cancer and he has something else, or she has something else, or there's abuse going on over there, and there's
Yeah.
trauma and grief and all kinds of things that Lisa and I talk about here. And this
But
is
thank
just
goodness
one
for
of them.
medical technology and how much
Mhm.
we have advanced. It's pretty
Right.
incredible, I'll tell you the truth. That and
Sure.
prostate cancer are the two of the most advanced ones as far as treatments and as far as longevity,
Well,
afterwards. So hope that helps everyone.
so we gave a little bit of guidance and support today. And if there's anything, if anybody's watching this and they're confused, and we're not the breast cancer specialist, but
Right.
guess what? If you contact us, we can find somebody to help you and we can guide
Absolutely.
you in the right direction. If
Yes.
you don't have the capability to do the research yourself or the know-how, we can help you do that too.
Yes. We both have lots of resources. That's just the way we both are. Okay, so she's frozen again, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll take over here and say thank you for watching this. And again, we always welcome topics and we welcome opportunities for you to discuss anything that you feel we would like to discuss. Susan, of course, does beautiful legacy books and she does her healing garden. And I do support groups, bereavement, and my books. So thank you again for joining us. We're sorry we froze. This is technology at its best, I guess you'd say. And we hope that you will join us again. Thank you very much. Okay, take care. Bye.